That's glass blowing.
Yeah. All right. One down.
I'm Rob. That's Dave.
And that's Nate.
And Nate's been blowing for about 6 years. Dave's been blowing for about 7 years. He learned from a guy named Mark Fowler. I learned from a guy named Mark Fowler.
I learned from Mark Fowler, but I took his class in '98 at Augustana College. We got a lot of casting experience, but we had no hands-on experience with actual glass blowing. I was in the south of France for a short amount of time. We got to blow glass in a private studio for 20 days for free while I was there. And basically all the things that I learned there I brought home, and we've been building the shop for about the last 6 years or so. We've had it on for about the last 3, and basically it's crammed into a 20 by 24 in this little room. We ran all the electricity you could possibly need, and we've been rocking it out ever since. And this is kind of our shop. This is Nathanial Dark Studios, attached to wildglass.com. Really, we don't. We've got a lot of stuff in different galleries. Dubuque Museum of Art, Art Space in Muscatine, Left Bank Art Gallery in the District of Rock Island, Illinois.
4 miles to Memphis. They just opened up in LeClaire, Iowa. So we have these with them now.
Cool. And basically, we just try and keep all one-of-a-kind pieces, try and do our own style, not to take too much from anybody else, and just trying to find our own niche in a pretty, fast-paced and ruthless kind of business, basically, because there are so many competitors. Even in the small town we live in, there are 3 other glass blowers, and we're just in full competition all the time to basically work as much as we can and produce the best product. So, and that's what it's all about, having fun and making it a big team effort, and everybody kind of goes at what they really want to do for the time they're on the pipe, and then it's the next guy's turn. And it's up and down, up and down. It's basically a beast. We feed it as much as it asks, as long as we can afford it. And otherwise, when it's down, we're fighting to get it back on all the time.
Now, do you guys teach other people to blow also? Or?
Absolutely. We offer classes. All the information is on our website, wildglass.com, and they can check it out. We do blown classes as well as paperweight classes. A student can take one class, one night, paper both of them, and come back another night and do the second one, or they can do them both bang bang right in a row. It's basically a 45-minute demo with a 2-hour slot after that. We coach them through it. They get to use whatever glass, basically whatever colors that they want to use, and do whatever shape that they want. Basically have full access to the shop while they're here. So, and we just try and make it fun for them, no matter what. We don't push them to do any more than they feel comfortable doing. And as long as they do feel comfortable doing it, hey, they have a ball, no matter what.
We do. Johnny, hey, I knew you'd find a way to make yourself happy. You should still be here, I hope you can see. Thanks for being a good friend to me. Here's to you, those who can stand the pain. once again, and I'll find my way back to you at my end. DC always had his way with words. I used to stare out the window at the birds. The only reason I made it out of high school alive, you wrote me passes and let me slide from time to time, and here's to you, here's to you, those who couldn't stand the pain. Here's to you, here's to you, my friend. Here's to you, here's to you, here's to you once again, and I'll find my way to you at my friend. So long that I barely remember the last time I felt fine. I guess it was the last time I got to stare into your eyes. It's been so long that I barely remember. It's been so long, but I'll never forget the way you looked at me on that night, the night that we first met. And I should have known by the look of lust on your face, you'd only break my heart again. I should have known better, should have known better, but I tried it again. broken-hearted, out all alone in this world. This is for all the broken-hearted, and I send my love out to you. And if you had just one more chance to find love and make romance, would you waste it away? Would you come and find me? I am just a silly, sentimental fool, 'cause I'm still in love with you. I am just a silly, sentimental fool, 'cause I still love you. This is for all the lonely lovers out in the world tonight. And this is for all the broken-hearted. I hope you're feeling fine. Last night I went walking down to this bar called London Town, where I sat and I drank my wine, had myself a pretty good time. And so I started asking round, but everyone said he weren't in town. And so I headed out for the door. I couldn't be there anymore. walking down to this bar called London Town, where I sat and I drank my wine, and you were still on my mind. And so I started asking round, but everyone said you weren't in town. And so I headed out for the door. I couldn't stand it anymore. And as I got out onto the street, there you were, and you looked so sweet. And I saw you, but I wouldn't let you see me. In the rain till the morning came up again. Last night I went walking down to this bar called London Town, where I sat and I drank my wine, and you were still on my mind.
And then it sits in there for how long?
Basically overnight. We'll keep that on for about the next 6 to 7 hours, and then we'll shut it off and let it slowly crash overnight.
Cool. Great, man.
One fluted platter with mixed colors.
Yeah.
Basically, this is our furnace. It's a normal ceramic oven. We've packed a 12-inch by 16-inch crucible inside, and then packed hard brick all the way around it to insulate it. And basically we're running it at about 2250 degrees to cook the glass, and roughly this one's running at 2010 degrees work temperature, and it's clean as can be. I mean, this thing's rocking and rolling. And when it's on, it's on, and when it's off, it's off. So once we start charging, I never turn that electric off, and it's always running.
Now that's where your raw glass is.
That's
right?
where the raw glass is.
Okay.
And we're taking it from a batch glass, which is basically just the minerals, the lime, and the silica, and we're cooking it down. And at 2250 degrees, that's when it actually cooks down and becomes glass. And then you have to squeeze all the air bubbles out of it by reducing the temperature, and then run the temperature back up to pop all those air bubbles off the surface. And then once all those have popped and the surface is clean, you bring it down to your working temperature, and away you go.
Oh, cool.
We're using a steel marber table with naphtha and beeswax to coat the top of it to keep the glass from physically sticking. This is what's called our pickup oven, which is just basically packed full of chunks of color and scrap bits, broken pieces sometimes. We save as much as we can to recycle. Color can come in 3 different types. It can come in a large bar, like these. It can come in a powder, like this, as well as frit, so small little chunks. And this would be different grades of frit, basically. It goes all the way down from a 1 to a 5. here's a little more of it. Then we've got these two annealers right now, which basically hold the glass at 880 degrees. Once we're done with the piece, it goes in here and we allow it to anneal, basically 20 minutes per millimeter of thickness. So normally it's a few hours before we shut the kilns down after we're done at the end of the night. And our glory hole over here runs roughly about 2,300 degrees. It's got a 15-inch by 4-inch burner. It's running 270,000 BTUs. It's 18¼ inches around and it's 33 inches deep. So if we blow a bowl basically 18 inches around, when you spin that open into a platter, it becomes double that size. So you can we can make a 3-foot platter is about our max. And then the kiln, the size of our annealer is basically the limit we can on a vertical piece. Everything else is basically packed on this little bench. Just all our tools, paddles, diamond shears, snips.
Those are basically forming tools. Then,
Absolutely,
okay.
absolutely. As well as different size jacks, which are used to open the lip of a piece or make an indentation in the shape. And there's multiple sizes of these, depending on what you're working on. The whole variation basically requires different tools. Some are really thin, some are really thick. We use a normal file to basically scribe a line on the jack line, which these are jacks. You form that line on the end of a moil, which is basically the end of your pipe. And this is what actually separates the piece of the pipe, or the piece from the pipe, excuse me. And then you take water and a file and you scribe a line on that and then smack the pipe and it breaks the piece off. Depending on whether you're punnying up or not is the second attachment, which basically you take a solid punny rod like this one, you gather a small amount of glass on the end, you roll it back so there's just a little bit off the end of this that's actually going to physically stick to your next piece. Sometimes they don't go as well as they could and we end up with a piece on the floor. But most of the time, we put them away, so.
Cool.
Other than that, the other forming tools that we actually use are cherry wood blocks. And basically the fruit woods hold water better. And so when you put a piece inside this, it's literally riding on the steam and not on the block. So if you see the block start smoking, that's when you know you have to start dipping this again. Because if you're burning the wood, you're actually putting a mark on your glass. And you always want it to ride on the steam. It's the same principle with the wet newspaper. And basically, once you've soaked this, that piece of glass is going to ride in that shape. So the more pressure you apply, the more you'll squeeze the piece. The lighter you touch it, the more you'll allow that piece to blow out when we add air pressure. And it's always riding basically on that steam. And so when it starts burning, you have to keep dipping it in water, and you got to really watch your piece, because if you come on and you've got a lot of water on your paper, sometimes you'll put a crack mark actually on the bottom of your piece. You'll cool it too much and it'll shock it. And it takes a long time, really, in the glory hole to reheat it enough to burn all those out.
Cool. So now, are you guys actually blowing? I noticed when we just watched that piece getting done that
Yes.
it looked like a lot of it was gravity when he was spinning the. Can you explain that a little bit?
Well, basically, once that glass is hot, it's liquid, and so the angle to which you hold it basically shapes your piece and basically keeps your piece either level and keeps it in a ball shape, or the more you point it down, the more it's going to want to elongate. So gravity is sometimes your best friend, it's sometimes your worst enemy. Depending on how large your piece is, the more gravity takes it, the more it's really going to get off center. And the focus is really to be on center all the time when you're blowing your shape. And so when Dave wanted the piece to actually get larger, get longer, he swung it over his head. He used that G-force to literally pull that glass off the pipe. When he's pushing back on it with the paddle or pushing back on it with the paper, he's basically squashing that shape back and trying to make it rounder instead of elongated.
And all that comes with probably doing a lot of pieces. And
Yes, absolutely. Just with time and with the more experience you have, the more you're basically focused on what you're doing, and the easier it becomes, basically. You have to really want to know what your shape is going to be before you start a piece. Sometimes it's not going to end up being what you wanted, and you have to be willing to basically just go with the flow and let it do what it wants to do sometimes. If you try and fight it too much, you're probably going to watch it go to the floor. The smoother basically you make it on yourself, and the more you don't fight it, the easier it is to actually make a piece come out the way you want it to. And yeah, experience is all, and practice is all I can really say. The more you do it, the more you feel physically comfortable actually making what you want and seeing what you want and actually making it happen. And that's what I love about glass. I mean, I can take a raw material that was a powder 3-4 hours ago, turn it into a liquid, work it for 20 minutes, and end up with a solid piece that, I mean, it's up to me to decide what it's actually going to look like.
Right.
And that's what I love about it, because you can be creative in so many ways and you never run out of ideas.
Cool. And with that said, we're going to watch these fellas make a few more pieces here.
Thank you.
Your mind this time before I finish dying inside, 'cause I gave you all I had to give, every last bit of it, 'cause I never expected to need it again. You were the only one I ever saw myself with, as an old man with beautiful children. I guess it's easier to walk away than try and make this work for another day. Oh, but no one said anything's easy. If you want something good, you gotta work. Make up your mind this time before I finish dying inside, 'cause I keep myself from dreaming at night, just to keep you off of my mind. And still once in a while I find myself lost someone else for a while. But it always comes back to you. No matter what I do. So I wish you'd make up your mind this time before I finish dying inside. 'Cause I gave you all I had to give, every last bit of it. 'Cause I never expected to need it again. I've been walked on for far too long. You know I fell down, and then I fucked up, and I thought I finally found a little girl who wanted to treat me right, come home and make love to me every night, and she was mine.
Wild glass, blowing glass.
Check it out. If you get a chance to do it, definitely do. It's addicting. You'll never get away from it. If once you touched it, there's something that just pulls you right back. No matter what you do, no matter where you go, you will always have an interest in it once you get your hands on it. And I mean, I haven't found anything half as fun. I mean, I've done just about everything you could possibly think of, and then some. Skydiving, I mean, jumping off cliffs, you name it, anything with adrenaline, and this takes the cake by far. By far.
You look like you're glowing a little bit, man. So
I love it.
Yeah,
love
that's
it.
cool. Dave, what?
Just drink water.
Yeah.
If not, you'll die. One of the two.
Rob, you want to say anything to wrap it up here about glass blowing? Or?
Yeah, it's 120 degrees in there. So come over and have some fun. Oh yeah.
Every night of the week, you know it don't surprise me. And she was mine, Mississippi girl. Oh, those eyes. Oh, and that's my high. You know, Southern draw always turned me on. Now she's gone. So all you single ladies, come on, come on, come on. She used to say I ran chills up and down her spine when I played these songs for her late at night. She was mine.